Okay. Can you see me? Am I back? No? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Yeah? Okay. Wonderful. It was a little frozen there for a bit. So thanks everyone for joining. We are going to come into a seated position to start today. So I'm going to recommend to you that if you have a blanket or any sort of equipment that you can sit on so that it props your hips up a little bit higher. Yeah, nice. Just fold that blanket a couple times. That it allows your hips to be a little bit higher than your knees. And so take that cross-legged position, whichever leg feels most comfortable for you out in front. And then just place your hands face down, palms down on your knees or your shin. And if it feels comfortable for you, go ahead and close your eyes as well. We'll just come into the space together this afternoon, allowing that inhale, that nourishing breath to be sent down along the spine. And then exhale that cleansing breath out, upwards, stacking the spine nice and tall. Inhale as we're grounding. Maybe you rub the palms of your hands back and forth very gently. And then exhale, relaxing your shoulders down, but keeping the length of the spine. Continuing like that, inhaling, imagining your chest rising, but keeping those shoulders down. And then exhaling, settling into the space. And if you've been rubbing your arms back and forth, your hands across your legs, go ahead and allow them to come out to the front, resting on kind of that knobby part, that front of the knee, the patella there, that bone. Straightening throughout the arms to allow some leverage with every inhale. Rising up, lengthening, and exhale, settling down. And then on the next inhale, let's bring our hands up overhead, interlacing the fingers together, but allowing that pointer finger to release. And as you inhale, once again, stretch up, maybe give a little wiggle to both sides. And then exhale as you bring your right hand down to the mat and allow the left hand to come up and over, gazing down at your fingers or gazing up at the sky, allowing the breath to settle in, filling the long left side and sinking down into the left hip, really grounding on that left hip so that you can allow that upward movement, that stretch to come into play. Continuing to breathe here. And then on the next inhale, let's bring both hands up overhead. Once again, interlacing but releasing the fingertips. And then maybe you can try to see if you can bring your hands back behind your ears. And then this next inhale, let's release the left hand down. And then exhale as you stretch up and over to that left side. Noticing if there's any differences between the two. Grounding down, sending the breath into that right hip, which then will allow that stretch to come along all of those little intercostal muscles we have between our ribs. And then maybe gaze up at your fingertips in the air, opening your chest to the sky. And then on your next inhale, bring both hands up overhead. Exhale, releasing them down onto the earth. And then just tent your fingertips. I always call them, I don't know, to me they're like little ants, little spiders. So you're up on those fingertips. And on your next inhale, expanding through the chest. And then exhale, turning over to the right side. A nice gentle twist here. Breathing, lengthening on the inhale. And maybe with every exhale, you can take the twist a little deeper. No need to force anything. We're just starting to wake up the body, sending breath and matching it with movement. The next time you come to an inhale, allow yourself to come to the front of the mat, tenting those fingertips again, and then exhaling. Inhaling here once again. And now exhaling, taking that twist over to the left side. Maybe allowing that right hand to rest on the upper thigh, maybe on the knee. Gazing out over the left shoulder if that feels comfortable. Or if that's straining on the neck, feel free to look out directly to the left or even out towards the front. Sometimes I notice, depending on how I sleep, my neck likes to be in a little bit less of a stretch. Breathing here, pressing down into the earth with the left hand as you extend that spine up. And exhale, maybe taking the twist a little bit deeper. And then on your next inhale, allow yourself to come back to center. And take that right hand out like we had with the tented fingers. And just allow the left ear to come to the left shoulder. Sending breath into the side of the neck. And if it feels okay and not too straining, just place your left hand up on the side of the head. And it's not that you're pulling or yanking, you're just adding the extra weight of that arm. Inhaling, lengthening the spine, and exhaling, keeping that length as you stretch along the neck. On your next inhale, allow your neck to rise up, press those left fingertips to the earth, and exhale as you tilt your right ear to your right shoulder. Same thing on this side. Just feel how it feels. Breathing, inhaling upwards, exhaling, allowing the shoulders to drop down. And if you think it will be comfortable and helpful, place that right hand on top of the head, adding that extra weight. And on your next inhale, release both hands down to the earth. Inhale as you bring them up to the sky. And then exhale as the right hand comes down to the earth. Left hand comes up. You're lifting and looking up. Inhale as both hands come up to the sky. Left hand to the earth. Right hand extending up and over. And then inhale, both hands down to the earth, tented fingers. Exhale as we take that twist over to the right. Inhale as we come back to center. Exhale as we twist over to the left. Inhale as we come back to center. Exhale as we take that right ear to the right shoulder. Inhale as we come back to center and take the left ear to the left shoulder. Once more like that. Coming back to center, inhaling our hands up overhead. Exhale, right hand to the earth. Left hand comes up and over. Inhale, both hands up to the sky. Exhale, the left hand out and over. Inhale, both hands down to the earth, and then exhale as we twist over towards the right. Inhale as we come back to center, and exhale as we twist over to the left. Final time on this side. Inhale, and then exhale as you take that right ear to the right shoulder. Inhale, coming through center, and then exhale as you take the left ear to the left shoulder. Nice job. And at this point, come back up into a neutral spine, and let's switch the crossing of our legs. Feel that little bit of the weird side out in front, and then maybe you just resettle here. Maybe you lift the skin, the muscles of the booty out so that you can center yourself, and place your hands out on those knobby patellas. And then tuck your chin as you inhale, sending breath into the back body. Coming into that cat pose, really tucking the chin. Imagine with every inhale, you're sending breath into that back body. Really expanding three-dimensionally. One more breath like this. And on the next inhale, allowing our chest to open, our hands to come back behind us in that tented position. Imagining our shoulder blades coming together as we lead with the chest, looking up with our chin. Breathing here. And this time, imagine that breath being sent into the front top of the body, across your scapula, your clavicle, and the sternum. And then on the next inhale, coming back to center, rounding with that exhale, sending breath into the back body. And inhale, pressing forward, hands come back as we open the chest. Inhale as we round center, tucking our chin and our chest. Exhale as we open out. A couple more like that at whatever kind of pace feels right for you. Maybe you add in some of the side stretches here. Little ones like I'm doing, just moving my hands back and forth as I'm sitting forward. I find that this stretch here really starts to open up through that lower back, the side and lower back here. And then whenever you feel like you've done your stretches in this position, I invite you to come into a reverse tabletop. So what that means is that you're going to take that blanket or pillow that you're sitting on, and you're going to place your feet on the mat, kind of parallel, maybe a little bit wider than your hips. And your hands are going to be behind you. Your fingertips are facing in towards your booty, and you have a little bit of a bend in your elbows. And what we're going to do here is that we're going to take a nice strong inhale, stretching up with our chest, and then exhale as we press down into the earth, extending upwards, keeping that micro bend in our shoulders. And allowing our scapula, those muscles in the back of the neck, just create a little bit of a rest for our neck. No need to drop the neck back. You're engaging through your booty, your abs, continually breathing here. And then let's lower down onto the earth, bringing the soles of our feet together, coming into a Baddha Konasana. And if it's available for you, go ahead and grab on to your feet. And inhale once again, lifting through our chest and our chin. And then exhale, allowing yourself to fold forward over top of your inner thighs, that sacred space. Breathing here as well. Maybe if it feels good, you can press your elbows into the calves or the inner thigh. One more inhale here. And exhale, sink down a little bit further. And then on the next inhale, slowly rising up, allowing your hands to guide your knees back into center, planting your palms back behind you, fingers facing your toes, spreading out your legs. And then on the next inhale, pressing into the earth, coming into that reverse tabletop. Breathing here. Imagine yourself squeezing your booty, the backs of the legs, flattening out just a little bit longer. And then release yourself down, bringing the soles of the feet together once again. And then this time, let's set up to allow the elbows to help guide the knees down. And so we're going to grab the outside of our toes. Inhale as we open through our chest. Exhale as we lean forward and allow the elbows to gently add that pressure. There's never a need to strain this. It's just how your body is today. With every inhale and exhale, imagining yourself opening throughout the hips, the lower back. And then figure out how it feels best for your neck, if you're releasing it down to the earth or you're continuing to keep it out straight ahead. One more breath here. And then exhale. Inhale as you release your legs up, bringing your feet, turning your feet down together. And then let's place the feet out in front of us, giving them a little bit of a pulse here. Crossing our ankles and rolling over onto our tabletop position. We started out with reverse and now we're going to come into our regular one. So with this position, I want you to take a look down at your fingers, making sure that you're spreading them out nice and strong here. The shoelace part of our foot is pressed down into the earth. And let's inhale as we bring our right hand up to the sky. And exhale as we thread the needle, allowing our right cheek to rest on the mat. Our booty is up in the air. Feeling that stretch all along the back side of the shoulder blades. Maybe you feel some of that stretch in the left hand as well. And I want you to think about pressing that right foot, the top of the right foot, down into the earth with every exhale. And if it's available for you, maybe you bring your left hand around the body, nestling it into that crevice on the right hip. Continuing to breathe here. Once more like that. Inhale. And then exhale, press down into the earth with the left hand, allowing the right arm to flow upwards. And then meeting back in tabletop position. Once again, let's stretch out through those fingers. Maybe give your booty a little shake. Wag your dog here. And then inhale as you bring the left hand up to the sky. And exhale as you thread the needle on the opposite side here. Resting the cheek, maybe it's the top of the forehead, on the left side to the earth. And just like we did on the other side, imagine sending breath down into the earth on the top of the left foot this time. And if you tried it on the other side, go ahead and reach that right arm up and around for a bind here. Maybe it'll nestle itself down into that hip crease. Once more like that. Nourishing inhale and cleansing exhale. And then press your right hand down into the earth. Inhale as you rise the left hand up, and exhale as we come back into our tabletop. I'm gonna have you tuck your toes here, and then just slightly lift your knees up off of the mat. Starting to engage that core, pressing away from the earth, and then lower down. Toes together, coming back into our child's pose here. Breathing here. Sinking back into our hips. Maybe you even allow one of your hands to come and rest on that sacrum, the lowest part of your spine, just helping yourself to adjust into the space. And then on your next inhale, press back up into your tabletop position. All things are nice and parallel, tucking the back toes, and then pressing away from the earth, allowing your knees to just lift up at the mat. Breathing here. And then start to allow yourself to come into our first downward facing dog. It is our first one, so I encourage you to have a bend in your knee, pressing the earth away, all 10 fingers. And maybe you're pedaling out 1 foot at a time. Every inhale and exhale, allowing the breath to fill the space, and then release. And then drop down onto our knees once again. We're going to take a modified sun salutation. So we're going to stay on our knees for this. So if you do have any sensitivity, I encourage you to get that blanket back out. I mean, I guess, why not everybody get the blanket back out? We only got 1 set of knees that's been given to us. I want to try to keep them healthy as long as possible. So come up onto your knees, and we're going to inhale here, our hands up overhead, and then exhale, hinging at our hips, coming back into that tabletop position, pressing up into our cat pose. And then inhale as we rise back up, hands overhead. Exhale as we fold forward, coming into our child's pose. And then inhale as we rise to our tabletop, this time coming into that cow pose. And then exhale as we slowly roll our shoulder blades up, lifting onto our knees, hands out in head. And then let's inhale, bring our hands up overhead. Exhale, hinging at our hips, coming into that tabletop position, pressing into the back of the body for our cat position. And then inhale as we rise up, arms overhead. Pardon, exhale as we bend at our hips once again, coming down into our child's pose. Pardon. And then inhale as we come into our tabletop position, moving through our cow pose. And then inhale, tucking our chin, rolling up one vertebrae on the time, stacking our knees, shoulder blades come up and down. Let's do that once more. Inhale as we rise our arms up. Exhale as we come down into our tabletop, pressing the earth away on the exhale. And then inhale as we rise up, arms overhead. Exhale as we allow ourselves to come back into that tabletop and then eventually into our child's pose. Inhale as we walk through tabletop, allowing ourselves to come into that cow pose. Exhale as we slowly press into the earth, rolling one vertebrae up at a time, shoulder blades coming out and forward. And then at this time, let's bring that right leg and just step it out in front of us here. You might want to take it over to the side of the mat just to give yourself a little bit more space here. And I want you to place the right hand down, and then maybe your left knee will come and pivot as we allow ourselves to lift up and open. This is kind of like a truncated side angle here. And if it feels okay for your neck, you can look up, you can look down. If you have props, maybe it would feel better for you to have a block here, bringing the earth towards you. And just breathe into the spot. Maybe you take your arm forward, maybe you take your arm back. And then let's bring both hands down onto the mat and then tuck back into our tabletop position, eventually working our way into our child's pose. Or if you'd like to come up off your knees, feel free to come into a downward facing dog here. Both are available to you at any point in the practice. They're nice positions of rest. And then let's meet back up in that tabletop position here, bringing that left leg out in front to the side of the mat, placing that piece of equipment, if you have it here, with the left hand, and then allowing the right leg to come back to act as that little kickstand. Inhale as you bring your right hand up to the sky. Nice job. And like on the other side, let's paint that rainbow. Inhaling and exhaling as we bring our fingers front and back. And then next time you come to the front, allow both hands to come to the mat. Step back into our child's pose once again. Forehead on the mat. And then from here, let's allow ourselves to rock onto one of our sides, bringing our legs out towards the front of the body. You might want to bring that little cushion or towel underneath your booty to give a bit more elevation. You're going to bring your legs out in front, give them a little bounce back and forth. And then inhale as you bring your hands up overhead, flexing your feet. And then exhale as you start to lean forward, leading with your chest. And then eventually maybe you grab onto your shin, your calf, your feet. My chest is still coming forward, nice and active. And then when I feel that point of tension, I'm not stretching too far, I just allow my head to drop down. Breathing here. This pose is called Janushirasana, which also translates in Sanskrit, or from Sanskrit, to forehead to knee pose. Maybe someday we'll get there. Until then, I encourage you to keep that bend in your knee, breathing. And then on the next inhale, slowly start to walk your hands back along your legs, lifting up. Let's point and flex the toes. And then let's bring that right foot into our sacred space, allowing the heel of the foot to just nestle in there. And instead of coming and shifting our hips straight down and over, this time we're going to imagine that we're taking our left hand to the inner bottom of that arch of the left foot. So we're going to come more up and over as a rainbow. When you're doing that, make sure that you're not straining too much, and you allow the hip to move as it pleases. So let's position our hand, our left hand on the inner knee or the calf, and bring the right hand up overhead. And then on the exhale, just allow yourself to slowly walk your left hand out and down. Breathing here. Maybe someday we'll be able to touch our toes with our right hand. Maybe someday we'll be able to grab the pinky toe edge with the right hand. And on the next inhale, allow yourself to slowly come back up. And let's switch. So right foot out, left heel into that sacred space. Let's bring our hands of our right side and allow it to kind of roll along the inner right leg. On our next inhale, let's bring our left hand up overhead. And then exhale as you allow the right hand to work its way down, connecting with the inner arch. And just breathing here. Once again, if your hip feels like it wants to turn a little bit, please allow that. And then maybe you challenge yourself. Try to keep that leg straight. See where your top left hand is able to connect. Opening your chest to the left side. One more breath here. And then inhale as you allow yourself to come back up to center. Legs out in front, giving them a little bounce. And then let's bring the soles of our feet together once again, like how we started class. Let's inhale as we extend through our chest and exhale as we fold forward. Maybe you notice that you have a bit more flexibility throughout the back body, maybe throughout the inner thighs. One more breath here. And then slowly walk up, bringing your hands to the outer part of your knee, and then allowing your legs to go straight as you roll back, knees into your chest, coming onto your back. Let's rock side to side. Maybe it will feel good for you to draw some circles on the ceiling. And then let's take both of our knees out and over to the left side, allowing the left shoulder, the right shoulder to sink down into the earth. Maybe you're at the point in class where you close your eyes and just start to feel the benefits of this practice. And then on your next inhale, bring your hand to the outer edge of your knees, coming into center. And let's draw those circles once again on the ceiling, massaging throughout the lower back. And then let's take the knees over to the right side. Inhale as we bring them into the chest, taking them out and down, making sure that you're keeping that opposite shoulder pressed down into the earth. With every inhale, imagine that nourishing life force coming in. And with every exhale, eliminating all that excess, all that you no longer need. One more breath on this side. And then allow your hand to come to the outside of your knees, bringing them back into center. And we'll come into a happy baby. So grab the outside edge of your feet as you open your hips to the sky, pressing down, sending that stretch into the lower back, into your shoulders, and of course into the hips. Rocking back and forth if that feels good for you. Maybe extending one leg up and then extending the other leg up. Coming to a point of stillness, knees bent, toes flexed, lower back, upper back, and neck pressing into the earth. And then bring the soles of your feet together, allowing them to rock down to the earth, and then lengthening your legs out in front, coming to our Shavasana. Allowing your feet to flop open, your arms to expand outwards, palms facing up. And let's take a couple strong inhales together here, So let's inhale through our nose. Open our mouth, exhale. Let's do that again. Inhale through our nose. Exhale with an open mouth. Once more, inhaling through our nose. Exhaling through our mouth. Rest here. And just like I do with every class, I'll watch the time and the space. There's nothing for you to worry about. Eyes can be closed. And just breathe here naturally, allowing your body to melt into the earth. Start to lengthen your breaths, extending the inhale and extending that exhale. Once more like that. Nice long inhale and that cleansing exhale. And then start to slowly roll over onto the left side, coming to that fetal position. Taking a breath here. And then when you're ready, pressing down into the earth with your top hand, slowly rising up. Maybe you keep your eyes closed. Head and neck last to rise. And we'll meet in a comfortable seated position. Bring your hands to heart center. And just feel that breath. Expanding through the ribs. Expanding through the back body. Allowing all of the practice to settle into your body, into your space. And if you would like to join me for an inhale for Om, let's inhale together. Om. Bringing our hands to our third eye, that space between our eyebrows. Giving ourselves that massage, that thanks, and bowing down to seal our time together. Rising up, allowing yourself to re-enter into this world, maybe a little bit calmer. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time. Have a great rest of your day.